Okay, okay. Yeah. So we have our equation. Why is this what I drew for? Hold on. Yeah, we have our equation. Plus 5. Plus 5. Now, substituting -1 into this just puts -1 to the power of -1, which just takes the reciprocal, so you have 1 over -1 to the power of 1, which is just 1, or which is just -1. Then that's times this negative. That's times this negative, which just means it's 1. So, supposedly, and let me turn off window capture properly here. Supposedly, hold on, I gotta remember all the answers now. I mean, I know this one because it's just 4. But yeah, supposedly, the answer is just any sum that adds up to 6 for n and m. Unless it would. Yeah, it should say C if it wants one to be C and the other one to be. It should say one is C and the other one's D. Or one is C and the other one is just M. Or the other one is the function. You know what? Let me just do 5 stars. Actually, no, no, no. Because again, they don't make a distinction. They just say n plus m. They don't make a distinction, which makes me think. No. No. Okay. Well, in that case, we gotta assume. Hold on. Stupid. I had the wrong thing selected. Yeah, I'm like double checking my stuff. G of x is the integral of that. So I already evaluated the integral, which is g of x plus c. Already solved for the initial constant. So I'm gonna assume m is the constant, which means I need 5 stars. I'm gonna assume it means I need 5 stars, but I have no idea. No? Okay, we're pranking now. Okay, no, 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 no. No, no, no. That's bullshit. Are we bullshitting here? What is the correct answer? Hold on. Let's go through this again. Let's go through this again. Evaluating the integral, which again is 1 over x squared. We get negative 1 over x, which is equivalent to this. Now this. Oh no, okay, there we go. There we go. Okay, now it comes undone. I evaluated the original fucking thing. Okay. And see, this is why I can't do this within the time limit. Anyways, so that means we have negative 1 over 1 half, which just means we have times 2 on both. So we have 2. Yeah, negative g of 1/2, which would evaluate the negative 2 plus c equals 1, which means c is 3. C is 3, which means it has to sum to 4. But I do still... Surely that means now that I've actually gotten the correct answer. Surely that means... Now that I've gotten the correct answer, surely that means any combination should count. I'll probably just do one more question, assuming it's not too hard. And then I'll post this today if I can, or tomorrow if YouTube is actually done with my shit. If YouTube is done letting me upload for today, then I'll just have to upload it tomorrow. Again, it just has to be any combo of 4, right? Well, okay, that lines up with the first term equaling 1. But I assume it's any combo. Because again, it's kind of just stupid to... It's stupid to just separate them randomly. Oh my god, dude. The limit of sine of x over x goes to 0 is... Can't you do this with L'Hopital's? Can't you do this with L'Hopital's, I say, as if I know the answer. I actually don't even know L'Hopital's rule. We gotta be real here. I don't know L'Hopital's rule. I could search it up, but I'm going to guess based on memory. That if you're taking a limit, I do remember sine of x over x being an example used for L'Hopital's, I think. Okay, let's try 2 of each. Because it shouldn't matter. It should just matter that it totals to 4. I will be upset if you have to make the distinction. Okay. So I believe B is 1. Actually, this might just be both 1. How would I say that? No idea. I'm probably wrong too. Yeah, okay. Let me actually evaluate this. Hold on. I didn't screenshot. I'm not gonna look at the other ones. Yeah, let's like... Okay. How'd I... Okay, there we go. Nice parallax. Okay, let's pull this up. Let's get the screenshot. Let's pluck the screenshot over here, copy. Where's Paint? Okay. Just gonna completely cut this out so I don't think of these. Did I say college? No, that's just collect. College. Okay, no. Yeah. 1 is the... This feels like the improper definition of a derivative, or whatever it's called, where instead of the limit as h goes to 0 of f of x plus h, f of x plus h minus f of x over h, it's the limit as x approaches a. Hopefully I can explain this in 5 minutes. The limit as x approaches a of f of a minus f of x over a minus x. You can reverse the terms, but yeah. You can reverse the terms, but it feels like this is the way it is. Cause a is 0. Well, no, but then it's minus x. So I guess you factor out the constant, like the constant -1. Well, that'd be goofy though, cause that means that would mean this is negative. But yeah, but 1 is the function at a, cause a is 0, and if this is the function, and x equals 0, then this just becomes 1 over 1, which is just 1. So I'm getting a little scammed here, actually. I'm getting a little scammed, unless of course this is also negative. You know, I wouldn't know. I wouldn't know. This is stock knowledge. I'm basing this off my tiny amounts of stock knowledge. I mean, they're relatively big compared to what you would usually expect, like a normal person to have for stock knowledge, like in math, but still. Okay, yeah, because a is 0. A is 0, which I can actually do funny. Like this. A is 0, so this is negative x. But then we factor out the negative. I'm just gonna ignore the negative. You know what? I'm gonna ignore the negative. Completely ignoring all procedure, I'm gonna ignore the negative. If you times the whole thing, by I mean, no, you know what? This might not even be a derivative. No, it technically is. But again, factor out negative or whatever. If you times the entire expression by x plus 1, you get x plus 1, because that's x plus 1 times this 1, minus 1, which cancels out. Minus 1 because it's this times x plus 1, which cancels out with this. And then you have x plus 1 minus 1, and then that cancels out. And x over x, which cancels out. So now we have 1 over x plus 1. So a evaluates to 0. I'm bullshitting trying to pull out the improper fucking form of a derivative. I'm just bullshitting apparently. I mean, that is the way you would solve it as well if it was an improper derivative and it was like that. You can just do that. But yeah, so a is 1. Actually, b is 3. I'm stupid. I think with sine of x over x, I think it's 1 because it's 1 over 1. If you take the derivative, it's 1 over 1 because cosine of x. But when you take the derivative of sine of 3 of x, I have to speed this up. Actually, no, I can't because I have to play through it in order to check if I'm right. So I'll continue this tomorrow. Hopefully I can already post it when I actually start recording and doing this tomorrow. But yeah, when you take the derivative of sine of 3 of x, the derivative is cosine of cosine of the inner function 3 of x. I'll explain this tomorrow, but it's basically chain rule times 3 because the derivative of the inner function 3x is 3. I'll explain tomorrow. Explain tomorrow. For now, bye everyone who has somehow listened to the lowest quality math nerding